look at how to create wealth, how to make money out of equity, it's important to understand the nature of the beast, what exactly equity is. Some of the initial slides may appear to be very basic, but from there I'm going to draw the lessons, so I'll quickly get into those. First of all, the shareholders put in their equity. Now, shareholders could be promoters, friends, family, and public also, but basically it is the equity plus debt which is put to fund the business. This business then produces products or offers some services out of which the business earns some revenue, and this revenue, after deducting the expenses, generates profit. This profit is then divided into two parts. One part is given to the shareholders as dividend, the other goes back into the business. And that goes, what goes into the business is added to the shareholders' equity. It's important at this stage to keep an eye on what Peter Lynch has said and many others have said, that behind a stock there is always a company, and never forget that. Now, this is applicable specifically to equity. There are various other asset classes where the underlying could be something different. For example, debenture, you are not investing in a business, you are lending money to somebody, and there that means the underlying is a promise to return money with the interest. Okay, so that's underlying is a promise in that case. In this case, there is a business, and the business fortunes then translate into what happens to the stock. Now, this is as basic as it can get, but the first lesson is where the first question was put: do you really need equity at all? And for that, it's important to understand the impact of inflation. And I'm using the same flow chart to look at the impact of inflation and where does it hit the most. To the company, it is the raw material that the company purchases. Now, the raw material could be in form of the rentals that they pay for the office, or the utility charges that they pay, or the salaries that they pay, or if they're buying any raw materials. That's where the inflation can have a negative impact on the company. But on the other side, most companies are able to pass on that inflation to their consumers, which means if the company is in a strong, solid business, the impact of inflation on the company's profit should be either neutralized, or the company should be able to pass on more to the consumer than what hits the company. And in that case, the profit can grow. If that's the case, the profits of the company are protected against inflation. A lot of times we keep hearing about the equity market returns getting protected against inflation, but in reality, it is the profit that gets protected. And there is a link between the profit and the stock price, which we will come to later. But because the okay, let me just see if I can. Because the retained earnings, or the balance part of the profit which is not given to the shareholder, keeps going back to the shareholder's equity. Because of that, the equity pie keeps growing. So let me just also share another file with you, which is an Excel sheet. This is a bit of a challenge, but anyway. So I've just constructed a very rudimentary kind of Excel sheet. So what I did was, shareholders have started in year one with equity capital of 100 rupees. And I've assumed the return on equity, which means the net profit generated by the company as a percentage of the equity that the company has. I've assumed that ratio to be 15%. Why 15%? It's a random number. In actual companies, the number would be very, very different, which is something that can be looked at. Now, that means the company is earning 15 rupees net profit, out of which again I've assumed 20% is a dividend payout ratio, which means 20% of the profit is paid out to the shareholders as dividend, and 80%, which is in this case 12 rupees, is reinvested back in the business. Now this 12 rupees then gets added to the equity. So next year the equity capital becomes 112. Assuming that the company continues to generate 15% return on equity and continues to share 20% of profit as dividend, you can actually see the dividend stream also growing. This I think is around 15%. No, sorry. Yeah, this will be around 12% growth. And the entire growth would happen at roughly 12% because it is the 12% which gets reinvested. So you get the compounding effect on 12% at the rate of 12%. So company's equity keeps growing. In other words, those of you who are familiar with the accounting concepts, the shareholders' equity is nothing but the book value that the company has, the net asset value that the company has. And if that continues to grow, eventually that has to reflect in the price. This is where compounding happens, the real compounding. Now that gets translated somewhere in the stock price. We'll come to the link in a while, but this is the real meaning of compounding when it comes to. So the ratios, anyway, the ratios that we looked at were net profit margin, return on equity, dividend payout ratio, and retention ratio. So retention ratio is nothing but that retention of the earnings which goes back into the reserves as percentage of profit. If I were to simply put in a form of a function, compounding is a function of how much return on equity that the company is generating, and then how much of that profit is reinvested back into the business.